to showing you how I write hooks, and yeah, so I can kind of explain my thought process a little bit live, and you can take a thing or two away from that. Let's go. So I've taken some of these scripts and some of these titles from members within the YouTube Scriptwriting Academy. They just send these in for review, and I review them. You know, some of these I've already kind of like looked at a little bit, but I want to rewrite these hooks from scratch so you can kind of see the main different ways that I think about it. So here he's outlined it a little bit, right? Goals video is about 10 minutes, 2,000 words, right? Learn how to get clients with quality code outreach. Right, hook, pre-qualify, the top 5 methods, school, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, right, free value outreach, good. Okay, how to land your first copywriting client. So instantly, right, when I think about this, right, the questions from this, okay, how do I do it? What frameworks do you have? Who are you? Why should I listen to you? What else? How much will my first client pay me? Right, so these are just like immediate questions that come to mind. So let's see. So really with the first line, right, framework that we want to use to like immediately validate the click, right, create curiosity, and then we want to establish credibility too, and then set the stakes, right? Establish credibility or establish uniqueness, right? That I discussed in the framework, and also like set the stakes. And sometimes this can be jumbled up a little bit, but let's just see. Okay, let's immediately validate the click. Right, so this is like a simple how-to. So in this video, I'm going to reveal to you, I'm going to reveal how to land your first copywriting client, even if you have no experience. This is the exact framework that I've used to go from being a broke college student to landing my first client, and now scaling up to making my first 50K a month, all through copywriting. Right, so this is kind of like credibility a little bit, but also like curiosity. But then you can also be like, oh, I've tested I've tested every client acquisition method under the sun, including Instagram DMs, cold email, creating content. And what I'm about to show you is by far the most effective method. You can see here, establish credibility, right, through time. I tested all of these. My promise to you is that if you watch till the end, you actually implement this information for the next 7 days, you'll guaranteed land a client, right? Of course, we need to be careful about the claims that we make, right? But also like depending on the actual content that you talk about within the video, this could actually be okay to say, right? If you give like a specific protocol to follow, or if you're like, hey, like we have like an accountability group, if you like click the link in the description, right? These are certain claims that you can make. Obviously I need a little bit more context on the actual content of the video, but this is just me writing the hook based off seeing the title, right? Some of these are like just like made up. I don't know the actual client, but you can see like here you're pretty much using the framework, and you have a whole hook based on that written in, I don't know, maybe that took like 2 minutes. I don't even know. So previously we were looking at how to escape the rat race. Now let's have a look at how to write a hook. So once again, one of the things that you want to look at when you're writing your hook, right? One of the things that I'm pretty good at is just like spawning hooks out of thin air, kind of like looking at the frameworks. But that's because I've also written so many hooks. I know what's working, and I kind of have like a database in the back of my mind. So what I would do if I were writing hooks and I wasn't super familiar, once again, I would look at my hook swipe file, right? So if there's like any hooks that are like really good, you know, that you really, that you've watched the videos and you're like, hey, that hook is really good, keep it in a swipe file, right? It's basically a database of all of your favorite hooks, and then you can just write based off of that. So that's one thing that I would do. Number two, I would also look at competitors within the niche, right? That's part of the research. Look at what hooks that they are using. So maybe we can watch this video for a little bit and we can see.
Business, find me and many other skilled creators on Fiverr.
For years, I felt trapped on a relentless treadmill, stuck in the grind, working for someone else and allowing my job to define my entire identity. I had become convinced.
Okay, so she says, for years, I was stuck in the rat race, and we can also kind of have a look at the transcript here. We don't have to make our lives super difficult. Right, for years, I felt trapped on a relentless treadmill, stuck in the grind, working for someone else and allowing my job to define my entire identity. I became convinced that the only path to freedom was to quit the 9-to-5 rat race, but after spending so long working for an organization and now also having seen the other side and experienced what it's like to work for yourself, I've now realized the real issue wasn't my job, it was me. So in this video, I wanted to share some of the hidden secrets that I've learned that can help you break free. So here, if we break it down into its base parts, right, instead of like copying it word for word and like modifying word for word, which is definitely not what you want to do, you can have a look at this. Okay, for years, I felt trapped in a relentless treadmill. So she immediately validates the click, which is great. And she also starts with a personal story, right? So, and then pretty much what you want to do is you want to do this for all of the other videos and kind of see if there's anything, just anything interesting that they did in their hook. So like, let's maybe look at one more. So this is like the Dan Coe video, Escape Wage Slavery. It's not the exact same thing, but it's close enough. So let's see what he did in his hook. If you clicked on this video without getting offended by the title, then great job. If you got offended by the title, then you probably won't get anything from this video. You're not super helpful, right? Because he has slavery in the title. So we can't really emulate that. Let's just think how we would write this on our own. So how to escape the rat race. So we want to immediately validate the click. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. So whenever I write a script, I always want to have this as the headline at the top. So this will always remind me on the actual title of the video. So once again, let me double check what the actual title is. How to escape the rat race without quitting your 9-to-5. So let's write the hook. Let's see what we come up with. So we're doing all this live. I don't even know what we're going to come up with. Okay. So once again, we want to immediately validate the click of the title. And then we want to create curiosity or create an open loop. We're going to establish credibility. And then set expectations, right? Or what the payoffs is, or set the stakes, right? There's a couple different ways people have phrased it, but yeah. So like, let's see how to escape the rat race without quitting your 9-to-5. So what Misha did was there's kind of like the story behind, you know, being trapped financially, or like being trapped in a job, feeling like she was on the treadmill. It's more of like a personal story. Another way that we can do it is that we can also like directly address the viewer. So it's like, hey, I know what it's like. I know what it's like being stuck at a job that you hate, right? You feel like you're this, you feel like you're that. But let me tell you something. Being a job doesn't have to be the end of the world, right? That's also like one angle that we can take. But that's just the one that came off the top of my head. So let's maybe lead with that. So like, let's see what we can come up with that. And then maybe if we want, we can write a couple of variations based on that. So I know what it's like being stuck at a 9-to-5 job that you hate. Feels like you're stuck. You're stuck on a treadmill. It feels like you're stuck on a treadmill that you can't afford to step off. It feels like you're stuck on a treadmill that you can't afford to step off. And if you do, you get judged by your friends and family. Or even worse, you may lose your house. That's not super strong. And if you do, you get judged by your friends and family. And if you do, you get judged by your friends and family. Maybe this slide isn't super strong. It feels like you're stuck on a treadmill that you can't afford to step off. And if you're watching this video, you're likely dying to learn how to achieve financial freedom. I've personally started multiple businesses that I've grown to multi seven figures, and some to the $100 million range. And along the way, I've helped countless of you escape the rat race too. And along the way, I've helped tens of thousands of people escape, quit their 9-to-5 the right way. And yes, it's not about quitting their 9-to-5. Along the way, I've helped tens of thousands of people escape the rat race without taking on tons of risk by quitting their 9-to-5. You can see here, kind of established credibility, right? I've grown all these businesses, helped tens of thousands of people. I think that's good. In this video, I'm going to walk you through. What am I going to walk you through? The 4 principles that once you understand, that once you internalize and implement into your life daily, will help you finally achieve financial freedom. Now, this is a little bit long, right? I know what it's like being stuck in a 9-to-5 job you hate. It feels like you're stuck on a treadmill that you can't afford to step off. And everyone but it feels like if you want to escape the rat race, but it feels like everyone is telling you that if you want to escape the rat race, you have to quit your 9-to-5 and take on large amounts of risk. That is simply not true, right? So here, I'm kind of like more getting closer to the title. Let me make this smaller so you guys can see this all in one page. Maybe that's helpful. I know what it's like being stuck in a 9-to-5 job that you hate, right? It feels like you're stuck on a treadmill that you can't afford to step off. But it feels like you're stuck on a treadmill that you can't afford to step off. But it feels like everyone is telling you that if you want to escape the rat race, you have to quit your 9-to-5 and take on large amounts of risk. That is simply not true. I've personally started multiple businesses. I've grown to multi-7 figures and some to the $100 million range. And along the way, I've helped tens of thousands of people escape the rat race without taking on, here we repeat, tons of risk. So I don't want to do that. So now I'm kind of in the stage of just refining it, right? And as you can see, I'm not just like quietly sitting here. This is actually what I do. I actually read out the script, and you can see when I'm reading out the script, it's a lot more obvious what the mistakes are. So here I say risk twice in the same sentence, which isn't super great. So we really just want to edit and like refine this. I've helped tens of thousands of people escape the rat race. And yes, there is a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 4 principles that once you internalize and implement in your life daily, will help you finally achieve financial freedom. So let's see again. I know what it's like being stuck in a 9-to-5 job you hate. It feels like you're stuck on a treadmill that you can't afford to step off. But it feels like everyone is telling you that if you want to escape the rat race. So it's like here I say, like, I know what it's like being stuck in a 9-to-5 job. It feels like you're stuck on a treadmill you can't afford to step off. It sucks. But if you want to escape the rat race, so here I'm just gonna trim it a lot. If you want to escape the rat race, you don't have to quit your 9-to-5. Contrary to popular belief, you have to quit your 9-to-5 and take on large amounts of risk. I've really started multiple businesses that I've grown to multi-7 figures and some to the $100 million range. And along the way, I've helped tens of thousands of people escape the rat race the right way. And yes, there is a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. All right, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 4 principles that once you internalize and implement into your life daily, will help you finally achieve financial freedom. And here we have the transition. There you go. So that's a hook. Kind of like spawned it out of thin air. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is like a pretty good base to start off. But really, when you're writing a hook, you want to spend a lot more time on it. You want to write a couple variations of it, right? But this is just like the first line that I came up with, that came off the top of my head. And here you can kind of see like me refining it, me reading it, me editing it. And this is pretty much the attention to detail that you need